Have you ever felt like life is a swirling river, constantly pushing and pulling you with waves of emotions, sometimes soaring, sometimes sinking, sometimes joyful, sometimes drowning in sorrow? Do you yearn for a state of inner stability, where nothing can shake the peace within your soul? If the answer is yes, then the Stoic philosophy of Epictetus is the compass you've been seeking. In this ever-changing world, Epictetus, a renowned philosopher of ancient Greece, taught us an invaluable lesson. Act as if nothing can bother you. This is not a call to become emotionless or indifferent to life. It's an invitation to inner freedom, a hidden strength within each of us, so that we can face any challenge, any hardship, without losing our composure and steadfastness. Join me as we step into the world of Epictetus, explore Stoic philosophy, and learn how to act as if nothing can bother you. Because this is the key to unlocking your inner power, to becoming the best version of yourself, standing strong and confident on every journey of life. Don't miss the valuable lessons awaiting you at the end of this video, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to continue this journey of exploring profound life philosophies, helping you become the best version of yourself. When you allow others to disturb your inner peace, you transform yourself into a puppet, manipulated by their words and actions. Worse than a shackled slave, you grant them ultimate power, the power to control your mind. Anyone capable of making you angry, sad, or anxious holds the invisible strings that govern your emotions. They become your master, not through physical strength, but through subtle manipulation of your soul. Imagine if someone tried to commodify your body, subjecting it to their control. You'd fiercely resist, wouldn't you? So why do you readily allow them to invade your mind, letting their criticism and negativity disrupt your tranquility? Do we often underestimate the power of the soul, forgetting that a dependent mind is even more terrifying than a captive body? It's time to realize that clarity and inner peace are your most precious assets. Don't let anyone rob you of your mental freedom. Learn to protect your soul, building a fortress against negative external influences. Only then can you truly master your life and find genuine happiness. To achieve such serenity and resilience, let me introduce you to the following Stoic principles, which are valuable tools for training your mind and facing any of life's challenges. To begin our first lesson, I'd like to pose a thought-provoking question. Have you ever pondered why nature has given us 2 ears, but only 1 mouth? According to the philosopher Epictetus, this is not a coincidence but a profound message. We should listen more than we speak. Progress in life comes from learning from others, not from stubbornly defending our own viewpoints. From today onwards, try a new approach. Instead of focusing on expressing yourself, take the time to listen to what those around you have to say. When you share too much about yourself, especially your difficulties or pain, you inadvertently open the door to your private life, creating vulnerabilities that others can exploit to hurt you. While not everyone has ill intentions, the reality is that some people find satisfaction in others' pain and may even want to exacerbate it. This cruelty and envy can hinder your personal growth in all areas of life, be it at work, among friends, or even within your family. Therefore, learning to conceal your weaknesses can become your greatest strength. By speaking less and listening more, you not only gain knowledge, but also cultivate calmness and clarity to address problems without being swayed by emotions. Life is not always a smooth, melodious symphony. Sometimes melancholic notes and sorrowful melodies arise, casting our souls into a dark night. Challenges, losses, and failures can leave us feeling overwhelmed, as if caught in a relentless storm. However, Stoic philosophy reminds us that instead of succumbing to despair or resisting harsh realities, we should learn to accept. Acceptance doesn't mean surrender or giving up. It means facing the truth, acknowledging what we cannot change, and finding peace within ourselves. As Epictetus once said, "We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them." Pain doesn't stem from external circumstances, but from how we react and evaluate them. When we learn to accept the inevitable parts of life, we find liberation from unnecessary negative emotions and suffering. Take the example of a person with a disability. If they constantly dwell in self-pity and blame fate, their life will be filled with pain and unhappiness. But if they accept their disability as part of themselves, learning to adapt and overcome, they can absolutely live a meaningful and fulfilling life. Epictetus, a great Stoic philosopher, exemplified this philosophy through his own life. Despite being a slave, facing injustice, and bearing a physical disability, he found strength and inner peace by accepting what he couldn't change and focusing on what he could control, his attitude and actions. He proved that even in the harshest circumstances, we can choose how to respond and find meaning in life. Imagine yourself as a tree amidst a storm. The wind may blow away the leaves, the rain may break the branches, but the trunk remains firm, its roots deeply anchored in the ground. This is the image of quiet resilience that Stoicism embodies. You may not be able to control life's unexpected events, but you can absolutely control how you face them. You can't stop a colleague from talking behind your back, but you can choose not to let their words affect your mood and confidence. You can't change the past, but you can learn from your mistakes and move towards the future. You can't make everyone like you, but you can love and respect yourself. In conclusion, by focusing on what's within our control and letting go of what's not, we can find peace and happiness even amidst life's storms. This is the powerful message that Epictetus's Stoic philosophy conveys. You also need to understand that the things you desire, whether material or spiritual, can become chains that bind you, drawing you into a vortex of suffering and anxiety. To achieve true inner freedom, you need to learn to let go of all desires and attachments, from frivolous material wants to clinging onto things that cannot be changed in life. Imagine this. If someone stole your precious wristwatch, you would feel immense disappointment and pain if you were overly fond of and attached to it. But if the stolen watch was just a cheap or broken item, you wouldn't feel too upset because it no longer holds significant value to you. Have you ever noticed that the less you want something, the more likely it is to happen, while the more you desire it, the more you risk preventing it from coming to you? If you agree, comment with the number 1 below. I want to tell you that the more you let go of your attachment to anything you desire in life, the greater the chance it will manifest in your life. To achieve this, you need to understand the principle of the energy we emit. There's nothing mystical about this. It simply follows the laws of nature. Let me explain. Think of someone who has already achieved what they desired. They are no longer attached to getting it, because for them, having it feels natural. Now think of someone who desperately craves that same thing. Their energy is not the same as the person who already has it. A person who yearns for something tends to put it on a pedestal. Do you see what I mean? Understand that when you have already achieved what you want, it feels natural. A person who has what they desire carries a certain energy that is different from someone who feels they absolutely need it and is constantly yearning for it. Therefore, remember, don't appear too eager for any temptation. Be yourself. minimize all desires, and maintain a peaceful inner self. And everything you need, the universe will send to you, one way or another. Trust me. One crucial thing I want to share with you is this. When an event occurs, we tend to react immediately by judging and assigning it a positive or negative value. This automatic response, while natural, can lead us to perceive situations in a distorted way, amplifying the emotional impact and pushing us into a spiral of stress and anxiety. To change this, we need to start by cultivating self-awareness, observing our thoughts and emotions objectively, without judgment. Imagine your mind as a flowing river. Each thought, each emotion is a wave on that river. Instead of letting yourself be carried away by these waves, practice being a mindful observer, standing on the bank and watching the flow of your mind. When you realize you're reacting emotionally to a situation, pause for a moment, take a deep breath and ask yourself, am I seeing this objectively, or are my emotions clouding my judgment? This valuable pause will help you separate the influence of your emotions, allowing for a clearer and more objective perspective on the situation. A helpful exercise to cultivate this ability is to practice suspending judgment. Imagine you're a scientist observing a phenomenon, simply describing what's happening neutrally without adding any subjective evaluations. For example, instead of thinking, my boss criticized me unfairly, try rephrasing it as, my boss gave me feedback on my work. By removing the emotional weight from your wording, you can see the situation more clearly and objectively, enabling you to find suitable solutions instead of dwelling in resentment or self-doubt. Moreover, meditation can be an excellent tool for refining your perception. Mindfulness meditation, in particular, helps you develop the ability to observe your thoughts and emotions without getting entangled in them. Over time, you become more aware of how your mind reacts to different stimuli and learn to remain calm even in difficult situations. For instance, when you feel angry because a colleague misunderstood you, instead of immediately reacting with harsh words, you can pause, take a deep breath, and observe the anger rising within you. Then, you can calmly explain the situation to your colleague or simply let it go and not allow the anger to affect your mood and work. In conclusion, refining perception is a long and continuous journey. By practicing self-awareness, suspending judgment, and meditation, you can gradually master your emotions and thoughts, perceiving the world around you more objectively and clearly. This not only helps you reduce stress and anxiety, but also enables you to make better decisions, build healthier relationships, and live a happier and more meaningful life. Remember, you have the power to control your mind, and by cultivating awareness, you hold the key to unlocking a door to a more peaceful and fulfilling life. Life, like an unscripted melody, isn't always smooth and harmonious. Sometimes melancholic notes and sorrowful tunes emerge, casting our souls into a dark night. Challenges, losses, and failures can leave us feeling overwhelmed, as if caught in a relentless storm. The fear of the unknown future can become a paralyzing force, trapping us in a web of anxiety and assumptions, distancing us from the present moment and the opportunities it holds. However, the Stoic philosopher Epictetus proposes a radically different approach to facing these uncertainties. Embrace the worst-case scenario. Accepting that the worst has happened or could happen is not a surrender to fate. It's a strategy for self-empowerment. When you allow yourself to contemplate your deepest fears and accept their possibility, the seemingly insurmountable fear begins to lose its grip. It's like illuminating a dark room. Suddenly, the things that seem terrifying in the shadows become less daunting under the light of acceptance. Facing the worst-case scenario is not an invitation to pessimism, but a way to liberate yourself from the chains of fear. By embracing the darkest possibilities, you uncover an inner strength you may not have realized you possessed. This strength doesn't come from avoiding or evading difficulties, but from confronting them head-on, knowing that no matter what happens, you have the capacity to endure and overcome. For instance, imagine you're anxious about an upcoming important presentation. Instead of dwelling on the fear of failure, envision the worst-case scenario. You forget your lines, stumble over your words, and the audience laughs at you. Then, accept that it might happen, and consider how you would react. You could apologize, take a deep breath, and try to continue, or you could laugh it off and turn it into a funny story later. By accepting the possibility of failure, you'll feel less stressed and can focus on preparing as best as you can. Another example. Suppose you're worried about your financial situation. Instead of succumbing to the fear of job loss or bankruptcy, imagine the worst-case scenario. You lose all your assets and have to start from scratch. Then, accept that it could happen and create a contingency plan. You could look for other sources of income, cut back on expenses, or learn new skills to increase your employability. By preparing for the worst, you'll feel more confident and capable of facing any challenge. Epictetus teaches us that by accepting the worst, we not only prepare ourselves for life's adversities, but also open the doors to a profound and lasting peace. A peace that comes from the understanding that ultimately what matters is not what happens to us, but how we choose to respond. This perspective not only calms the emotional storm, but also gives us a sense of control in a seemingly chaotic and unpredictable world. Remember, embracing the worst-case scenario is not about giving up on your hopes or goals. It's about building resilience and the ability to bounce back so you can face any challenge life throws your way. When you accept the things you cannot control, you free up mental energy to focus on what you can control, your attitude, actions, and responses. By doing so, you'll find the peace and strength to overcome any adversity and live a more fulfilling and meaningful life. Remember, everything in this world is temporary. Nothing lasts forever. From tangible possessions like shiny cars and luxurious houses to intangible values like fame and status, all can vanish or change over time. Even our own bodies, no matter how well cared for, will eventually age and return to dust. When we deeply understand this impermanence, we become less attached to external things and less tormented by inevitable losses. We learn to cherish every moment, every experience, and live a more fulfilling life. For example, when your beloved phone breaks, instead of getting angry or sad, remind yourself that it's just an object and damage is inevitable. Focus on finding a solution or accepting the loss and moving on. When your body experiences health issues, instead of despairing or worrying, acknowledge it as a natural part of life. Seek necessary medical care while focusing on maintaining a positive spirit and enjoying other good things in life. When a relationship ends, instead of dwelling in sorrow, understand that all relationships can change and come to an end. Cherish the beautiful memories, learn from the mistakes, and open your heart to new relationships. Even in the face of the passing of a loved one of life's most painful losses, remember that humans are also a part of nature, and birth, aging, illness, and death are inevitable. By understanding and accepting this, we can face loss more calmly, cherish beautiful memories, and continue living a meaningful life in their honor. Understanding impermanence doesn't mean we become pessimistic or indifferent to life. On the contrary, it helps us live more mindfully, appreciate each present moment, and no longer be bound by material desires or unrealistic expectations. When we stop clinging to external things, we find true freedom within our souls. We are no longer controlled by emotions or worried about things beyond our control. Instead, we focus on living a meaningful life, doing what we love, and contributing to the community. Remember this, always. Another important point to cultivate a strong spirit is to practice gratitude. Instead of dwelling on what we have lost, Stoicism encourages us to focus on what we currently have and to cherish those precious moments. Epictetus, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, offers a profound piece of advice. Do not wish for things to happen as you want them to. Wish for things to happen as they do, and your life will flow smoothly. By accepting the natural and ever-changing flow of life and being grateful for what has come and gone, we can find an inner peace that is not easily attained by others. Reflecting on what we learn from our losses can also bring about significant and positive changes. Every loss, whether small or great, carries an important lesson. It may be a lesson in resilience, learning to stand stronger after each fall, or it could be a lesson in appreciating the present moment rather than focusing solely on what is yet to come. Sometimes loss prompts us to pause and reassess our priorities, helping us to gain a clearer sense of what truly matters in life. Viewing loss as an opportunity for growth and self-improvement allows us to move forward, not only with newfound strength and confidence, but also with deeper wisdom and understanding. This is how loss, instead of pulling us down, becomes a stepping stone for us to rise higher, to live a fuller, more complete life, with gratitude and acceptance for the things that cannot be changed. It is in these moments of acceptance and gratitude that we find an invisible source of strength, a profound serenity that nothing can shake. An essential aspect of mastering emotions and cultivating inner peace is nurturing empathy and understanding. Often our strong emotional reactions stem from a lack of understanding of others' motivations and circumstances. When we rush to judge or make assumptions, we easily fall into a spiral of negative emotions like anger, disappointment, or hurt. To escape this trap, try putting yourself in others' shoes and seeing things from their perspective. Ask yourself, why did they act that way? Is there something hidden behind their actions that I don't understand? When you strive to understand others' motivations and viewpoints, you'll realize that not every action is directed at you, and often what you perceive as bad or good is just a part of a bigger picture you haven't fully grasped. For example, when a close friend suddenly cancels a plan with you, you might feel disappointed and hurt. However, if you try to put yourself in their position, you might realize they're facing a difficult personal issue or simply have an unavoidable emergency. This understanding will help soothe your negative emotions, replacing them with empathy and compassion. Or when your boss seems demanding and has high expectations, you might feel pressured and dissatisfied. But if you try to see things from their perspective, perhaps they're facing challenges at work, or they simply want to push you to grow further. This understanding will help you view your boss's requests more positively, seeing them as opportunities for learning and self-improvement. Remember that refining your perception is an ongoing process, not a destination, but a journey. There will be times when you succeed in controlling your emotions and seeing things objectively, but there will also be times when you stumble and let emotions cloud your judgment. Don't be too hard on yourself. Accept mistakes as part of the learning and growth process. Every step you take in cultivating awareness, every time you succeed in seeing the world more objectively, is a victory worth celebrating. Celebrate those small wins and continue persevering on the path of self-development. When you apply these practices to your daily life, you'll gradually notice a positive shift in how you cope with challenges. Situations that previously seemed overwhelming will become more manageable, and you'll discover a newfound strength within yourself. Keep refining your perception, expanding your understanding, and embrace the power of seeing the world with clarity and balance. This is the key to living a happy, meaningful, and truly free life. Finally, I know this might sound hard to accept, but try to see yourself as a fool for once, and you might discover a new path to true peace and success. Our society often praises perfection, making us fear failure and constantly try to avoid being seen as foolish. However, Epictetus, a renowned Stoic philosopher, believed that being seen as a fool could be one of the best things that could happen to you. It opens the door to opportunities for learning, growth, and achieving exceptional excellence both professionally and personally. Stoic philosophy teaches us that excellence is not a destination, but a journey. It's not the result of a sudden burst of genius, but the fruit of continuous practice, through challenges, mistakes, and even those times when we feel truly foolish. It's precisely these stumbles that offer us the chance to reflect on ourselves, recognize our shortcomings and limitations, and from there, refine and improve ourselves. Imagine if you were always afraid of being judged or making mistakes. You would never dare to step out of your comfort zone. You would miss countless opportunities to learn, experience, and grow. On the other hand, when you embrace your foolishness, you gain the courage to try new things, face challenges, and continuously learn from your mistakes. Think of Thomas Edison, who conducted thousands of failed experiments before inventing the light bulb. If he had feared being seen as a fool for those unsuccessful attempts, would we be living in the illuminated world we have today? Or consider Michael Jordan, the basketball legend, who was once cut from his high school team. If he had let that failure defeat him, would he have become one of the greatest athletes of all time? Don't be afraid to be seen as a fool by others. See it as a chance to prove to them that you can overcome any limitations, learn from your mistakes, and become stronger. Remember, it's those who dare to embrace their foolishness, face failures, and never stop learning who can achieve extraordinary accomplishments in life. Instead of hiding or avoiding your shortcomings, confront them with courage. Let your foolishness be the motivation that drives you to learn, grow, and constantly strive for improvement, because as Epictetus said, it's not how many times you fall that matters, but how many times you get back up after each fall. And that's what Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, has taught us about the extraordinary power of acting as if nothing bothers you. Remember, no matter where life takes you, you always have absolute control over how you react to it. By training your mind, nurturing inner peace and steadfastness, you can absolutely find true happiness and tranquility, even in the face of the toughest challenges. If you found the insights in this video helpful, don't hesitate to like and share to spread these positive messages to those around you. Together we can build a strong community where everyone can find strength and peace of mind. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on future videos, where we'll continue to explore profound Stoic philosophies and other valuable life lessons. I believe this journey will help you unlock your full potential, overcome all limitations, and become the best version of yourself. Thank you sincerely for your precious time watching. Always remember, you have the power to create the life you desire. Stay strong and keep moving forward on your own path.